Okay, so my name is Kristiansen. I'm from SAP. I'm here to present SAP Cloud Platform for developers. The topic that I will cover is API, some capabilities of the platform that developers can utilize, the development process, and also a demo in order to help you get started with the platform. Okay, so this is a key information to be motivated for this session. Basically, SAP is the largest player in enterprise software when it comes to transactions. 76% of the world's transactions touches an SAP system. And this is key because the SAP Cloud Platform, which is the topic today, is there to connect to those systems and to extend those and to integrate. So it's still relevant, even though this is kind of sales features. It's good for you to be aware. Okay, so basically the trends in the market, it's kind of a perfect storm at the moment. There are new technologies coming in, machine learning, cloud, IoT, and so on and so forth, big data. This it's making new possibilities to leverage these technologies in combination with business application, business systems. One interesting area is regarding APIs. APIs are becoming more and more important, and this is also for SAP. So let me now show you how you could connect to an SAP system and services, and to get access to those data in an easy way. We are basically publishing all our APIs into the SAP API Business Hub. So basically there's a catalog of APIs for the different services and products. And also with that, there is a sandbox environment so that developers can test their applications and their services against those APIs. And also we provide code snippets, so that's easy for developers to copy that code into the projects and then consume the services that is provided through these APIs. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so I've connected to APISAP.com. So this is an open public website. And here you have access to, some of the applications, so business systems that we make. So the S/4HANA is the ERP system, is kind of the core. And also here, this is new in the area. Here, from this APIs, you get access to basically more or less all objects within the S4 and ERP system through APIs. Basically, we're providing, of course, a web-based user interface for business users, and then in addition, the API. And most of the APIs, they are basically accessible through OData. So if I go into one service here, you get access to, for instance, in this case, it's the cost center. You get access to the cost center through this specific API. And you can even, if I log on to the system, everyone can get a log on, by the way. You could also try it out and use the code snippet. I am not sure whether my internet connection is... I'll play the video then. So basically, here you can see the different services, so the different APIs for the different applications, and also APIs for the services from Cloud Platform and others. So you can browse them, look at the detail, test them, and then add them to the project. For all of the different applications, there are APIs available, and all kind of developers can then use that to extend an existing application, but also to integrate. Yeah, you get all the documentation as well, and also you could add your reviews to the different APIs. So this is a new area for a player like SAP to open up the core for external consumption through open standard-based APIs. Also, there are other services like a translation service, which you can use to do some translations. It does support even Latvian language as well, so you can issue a get command to get the different languages that are supported, and such as the Latvian language, which basically my video will show soon. And then, so that's the ID for that, and then you can go to the translate service, issue a command with that parameter, and then you'll get a translated text in the response from this API. So this is how you could test the APIs and bring it into your projects, basically. So now I'm testing it against Latvian and Norwegian, and let's see what the response is. And the value that we sent was the username, and then it returns brukernavn in Norwegian and then the Latvian word. We can see the response was successful, and also we can go into the code snippet where you basically can get the code and copy that to the project, and it does support Java, for instance, and other languages as well. Okay, so that's the SAP Business Hub. So the Cloud Platform, Gartner Group and others, they are talking about this bimodal IT. So the Cloud Platform is representing the mode 2, so basically where the innovation is happening. And we are having different technologies available as part of Cloud Platform, like IoT, analytics, machine learning, big data, blockchain, and so on and so forth. Basically for you as developers to build new applications, but also to extend the current kind of system of records or mode 1 applications like the Business Suite and others, not limited to SAP applications. The four basic use cases for the platform is to build complete new applications. So basically for developers, for partners of SAP, but also for SAP ourselves. When we are building new enterprise applications, we are building them on top of this platform. Also, there is services to integrate different applications and systems as a cloud service. Customers can connect by providing additional user experience. For instance, I'll show one example here from a customer of us. They have built this website, and that's actually a front end to an SAP ERP system where all the data about the different products and so on and so forth are, but also when logging in and placing a order, it triggers then a transaction in the SAP system, which will then basically create a sales order, and then the process behind will then get started, and the customer will then receive the goods, and so on and so forth. So this is an example of a connect. Another example is that SAP, for instance, internally we are using it to launch multiple different applications, cloud-based and on-premise-based applications through this portal, so basically a portal site. We have also customers that are building mobile applications in front of their business systems for specific purposes. I will get back to one example later in the session. This is kind of an architecture or blueprint picture of how it works. So we have different cloud applications and also on-premise applications. The cloud applications, at least those that we provide, they typically offer an OData or REST-based API, which is basically then accessed through a connectivity service on the SAP Cloud Platform and then made available for the applications or the microservices that the application consists of. Because we embrace a microservice architecture so that you could basically build multiple microservices, each of them kind of independent, using their independent backing service, such as Redis, MongoDB, and also Rabbit, MQ, and other services. They are all available on top of Cloud Platform. Then the Java application, or basically using more or less any runtime, and is then consuming those services through APIs. For connecting to a backend system, we are providing a software agent called the Cloud Connector. This is basically a software agent that establishes a secure tunnel to the connectivity service so that the data can flow in both directions. Even the user credentials, so basically when an end user is logging into an application here, it can be configured so that the user credential can be passed through to the backend. So basically no additional authentication is required in that sense. And this is also what we call principal propagation, and it's supported as part of the Cloud Connector and the connectivity service. Customers can leverage their existing IDP, but SAP is also providing an IDP. So Active Directory or Azure AD, for instance, one example. SAP Cloud Platform Identity Authentication is another example that is supported. Okay, so this is how we kind of tap into different kind of Mode 1 applications using, the APIs, using the Cloud Connector for on-premise access. And then you can mesh up data from multiple sources in the application, leveraging the connectivity service. And of course, SAP Cloud Platform being, a cloud service from SAP, it's basically operated and managed by SAP fully. And I think this is a scenario that is very relevant for many customers. As I said in the beginning, SAP is, the biggest vendor in the enterprise kind of ERP space, and there's a huge amount of opportunities here. And actually also, we encourage partners to build applications on Cloud Platform and then sell it to multiple customers. If there is one specific kind of use case applicable here, for instance, that could be also then made available globally, and there's a huge market possibilities if one succeed there, because you can basically tap into any of the SAP customers then. Okay, so basically the capabilities that the platform provides is, it ranges from analytics, basically being a full-fledged BI platform with also planning capabilities. There are business services available like local tax calculation and translation services and so on and so forth. Collaboration, we have multiple options for data and storage, both structured, with HANA as our own technology, but also using PostgreSQL is one option, MongoDB, and so on and so forth. Also, in terms of the integration, there are different options there as well, providing API management, for instance, to securely expose APIs, but also doing integration, process integration or data integration is a very common service from this platform. It supports multiple runtimes. I'll get back to that, like Java is one very prominent example. It also offers Internet of Things services, where it provides capabilities to manage the devices or the sensors, but also to manage the streaming of data, and then making that available for developers to build business applications on top, which also might tap into a business application to kind of trigger a process. Machine learning is very relevant these days. We have embedded machine learning into many of our Mode 1 products, and also we're seeing that customers are using the machine learning capabilities to enhance or to make a custom application. We are working together with Google on this on the machine learning side, and we are leveraging some of their technologies. Mobile also, we have mobile services, and we have tools for developers to more easily build native mobile applications. For instance, with Apple, we have a Mac application that basically will create a Swift Xcode project, but have the kind of connectivity and the security to an SAP backend made available through this wizard. Security portal and so on and so forth. So quite a lot of capabilities that could be used and reused. But of course, we are depending on the developers to build a custom application, to build new innovative applications that might connect to a business systems. And we are providing the freedom to developers. So we are offering kind of standard-based environment, supporting, for instance, Java, Node.js, HTML5, but also the HANA-specific with what's called the extended services, advanced and classic. But also, as we are using the open source PaaS, Cloud Foundry, this enables customers also to bring their own build back. So basically combining, for instance, a microservice using your own kind of preferred runtime. And we are there supporting, like PHP, Python, Ruby, and Go, and so on and so forth. So the idea is that we do not want to limit kind of the developers. We want to provide, the capabilities so that they can basically bring their technology and runtime of choice. Okay, if we look at the one of the services, such as the Internet of Things, as said, we have already built standard products. But to be honest, most of the customers, they would need to have a custom application, and we are then providing IoT services that you could leverage and build on top. So we have the Edge service, which basically connects to the sensors and devices through a range of protocols. I think MQTT being probably the most prominent one, to get information, to get the data from the sensor, but also to push commands. We have app enablement services, so that basically allowing you to build application on top and also get access to the sensor data and the big data storage through SQL or OData. We have also thing management, basically building a digital twin of the assets that you are kind of monitoring or making available. Okay, and then not least, being able then to tap into a business process. I'll show an example. Okay, I've connected this sensor here to this, actually through my mobile device, because this one does not have Wi-Fi capabilities. Okay, I need to restore the device. Okay, so this is my device. So if I turn it, it will immediately move. And if I go to the movement, for instance, you will see that when I shake it, it's immediately visible here. But also you will see here that I've configured the system so that, imagine this is on an asset in a production facility, for instance. And if it moves not the way it should, then it could actually create some services or notifications. So in this case, it created a purchase requisition because most likely this asset is going to break. Here, it's actually creating a work order. So work order meaning that some service technician will be sent out to repair this device before it actually fails. And also an SMS message is sent to a person indicating that there is something wrong here. And these devices now become cheaper and cheaper, so there will be more and more use cases for this type of scenarios. And they can be kind of, and this one, for instance, is measuring the light, the temperature, humidity, and movement in different direction. You can also see that it's put into a map, so location is also available. But again, we need the developers to, make this real for for the customer specific. So we are kind of having the building blocks that you as developers can leverage and use. Okay, another topic is the machine learning, where we have different applications already that are using the machine learning technologies. For instance, the Copilot is kind of, you can talk to SAP ERP system, give me the sales order of this customer, and it will then return it. So basically providing a new type of user interface, similar to the Alexa and Siri from Apple. Okay, and basically we provide also some additional services. Again, these are services that developers can leverage and use to create a specific machine learning use case for one customer, and easily tap into their business applications through the cloud platform. This is one example of an application. So the cash application is basically when customers are sending invoices to their customer, they get the bank statement in return. And there's a manual process where you have to match this. And with machine learning, this can be automated very much and providing a kind of a clear advantage. So basically automating more and more of the tasks typically done by humans. This will now be done by the software itself, using basically machine learning technology. Another use case is the image recognition capabilities. So basically you're uploading an image, and this is for a customer of ours called Swarovski. They are the leaders in these jewelries. They have actually in their product catalog 40,000 jewelries. So this is basically for the service organization. Customer is then uploading their broken jewelry, and then Swarovski service organization will want to have exact, correct product, and basically are using the machine learning technologies to match it. So this is another example from our friends at Google. Basically, it's not easy to program a robot to do this trick. But with machine learning, it's now the video stopped for some reason. It learns. It tries and tries, and at the end it learns. And basically this is the trick for the kind of machine learning applications that we have also, that it's learning. So we need to have the learning data to get it work properly. Okay, another interesting fact is that the cloud platform is, as I said, it's based on Cloud Foundry. This allows us to be infrastructure independent. So basically now the customers can choose to select to have Cloud Platform on this infrastructure. And this also means that customers can move from, let's say they start with Amazon today, but they see that Google has some cheaper services and other services, and they want to move to Google, then that will be possible to enable with this multi-cloud architecture. So basically reduced vendor lock-in. So we both Google and Microsoft Azure is still on beta, but it will soon be available. Amazon is already available. This means that we will have, let's say, a better geographically coverage also, because these players, they have, multiple data centers. And then the idea is that customers could then, with low latency and security or high security, use services from the infrastructure service provider and then use other services from SAP Cloud Platform. Okay, so, and the whole idea with cloud is that to enable you to basically get from an idea to a product as quickly as possible. And this is important, the time to market, but also fast innovation cycles. So because this is, the total cost of development and continuous delivery. So as part of the platform, we then provide reuse, APIs, different development operation tools, which I'll show in the demo, for supporting this. And also we embrace the APIs and the microservice architecture. So basically, if you look at the development process, we call this the combination of the methodology, the technologies, and the accelerators for the Leonardo. And we are using what's called the design thinking method. Basically, to explore ideas using tight cooperation with the customer, the end users in design thinking method, and then design a prototype, test this against the users, get feedback, and rapid innovation prototype, and then deliver a integration blueprint, the business case, and then also proposed implementation. So I'll show you shortly how the SAP build tool that we have, which is free for you to use as well, where you could build so-called low fidelity mockups and provide feedback on that, and also high fidelity mockups or prototypes. So basically now we are taking pictures from a design thinking workshop, drawings, and making them clickable. So adding those two images and then making the navigation between the pages. So basically, and previewing it. And then also publishing it or create a study so that the end users can have a look and provide their feedback. So basically now publishing the story, asking the kind of the end users to provide feedback to that. So then they get an email, click on the link, and then start the process of providing the feedbacks. So with this mockup tool called SAP Build. But again, this is available for you if you want to use it. It provides, it's easy to use, it provides good capabilities. Then, of course, the developers can go in and then study the feedback and then modify the mockup accordingly, and then maybe later provide a more high fidelity prototype like now, which is basically kind of a small shopping application. Now it's also possible to have data as part of the mockup, so you can have kind of relevant data for the mockup, and then publish that prototype and then make it available for the end users again to provide additional feedback before starting on the actual development. And actually, we have built a connection from this prototyping tool to some of our development tool called WebIDE, which is what we call full stack development tool, supporting Java, database modeling, and also front-end HTML5 based development. So one could actually export and import this into that tool as well. Okay, so that was this tool, which, you're free to use. Start using it, test it, get to know it. Okay, so customer of us, SKF in Sweden, they are the leader in this wheel bearings, which are being used in any kind of, let's say, device that are moving, for instance, a lot in cars. They have a need for optimizing their production process, so for the people on the factory floor. So they did this design thinking exercise with all of these kind of drawings. We were discussing with the people on the floor, with the management, how to improve the process. And after developing kind of the prototype, deciding for what the capability is, then we exposed all of the services that is required from the SAP backend side, made those available, and then the customer decided we want this to be a native mobile application. So they selected the iOS as the platform and used the iOS SDK that we have, and then building on top of that, so leveraging kind of the device capabilities like the fingerprint authentication, nice look and feel, high performance, but also it was easy to add additional capabilities with the Apple Watch. For instance, when there was a new material arriving to the factory, they got a warning on the watch, and they could then go and get those materials, and then Okay, so basically those services are then available for developers to build upon. We have also, some industry accelerators. So basically, we are using the kind of the learnings from the different projects they have in different areas and for different industries. Okay, so now let's have a look at the Cloud Platform Cockpit and how you could use it yourself. So let's see if the network is working for me now. So basically, the starting page is typically the Cloud Platform SAP.com. So here you get information about the system, but also here you have access to the SAP App Center, where you can browse through existing applications that partners have developed and made available for customers to use and to buy. So, it's kind of like an app store for the customers of SAP. And SAP being, the leader in enterprise applications, this is a huge opportunity for developers. Here you can also see the different capabilities that is provided, access to the APIs, and also some Cloud Platform blueprints. I'm just clicking on one of the examples. So here you get detailed information about the blueprint, how to connect to the backend, and then some discussions about security, authentication, authorization is important to comply with enterprise security standards. Basically, you could leverage the identity authentication service, but also you could trust and work with the existing corporate user store, and then a typical flow would be for the authentication towards the application, and then it will then create a short-lived certificate, which will then be propagated to the backend system, and then you will have access to and authorized to what you basically have being authorized to before. So lots of things there. Just one example. Okay. Yes. So now, what else? So if I now go to getting started, for instance, you can also go to the Developer Center here, and here you have access to a broad range of tutorials. So create a web app in Java using Eclipse, for instance. There are different plugins to Eclipse that enables you to connect to the SAP Cloud Platform. So this is a nice tutorial where there's, all the steps needed in order to deploy your Java application to SAP Cloud Platform. Okay, so this is also a very useful tool. Okay, so now let's go. So SAP Cloud Platform, sign up for free. So now, basically, I've already signed up, and I was authenticated using my certificate on the browser. So you can then have the same access as I have. You will have access to the different environments, so Neo and Cloud Foundry, and there are some materials here like how to deploy your first application, launch the Web IDE, which is our web-based integrated development environment, also supporting Java. Business logic, but of course you could use Eclipse as the documentation and so on and so forth. So now let's go to the Neo trial first. So here I'm on the Neo trial and the overview page. So I have one application, Java application. I have multiple HTML5 applications running. And if I want, I can go into the Java application. So this one. So I can look at that, I can monitor it, the usage, so on. I can look at the different processes. So it's Java EE6, and so on and so forth. So also here the destinations, which are basically connecting to more one application, like, for instance, SAP ERP. Okay, I can also go and so you can have also the same capabilities. Java HTML5 applications, for instance, this application here, shopping cart application that I built, etc., etc. So And here you have also, I mean, the different permissions role and so on and so forth. So if we look at the different services that are available, I said there are a broad set of services in different categories and different storage capabilities. There's a Git service, Java apps lifecycle management, and so on and so forth. There are API management, business rules, cloud integration, etc., etc. Also, mobile services enables you to build, mobile apps for B2E or B2B scenarios, and so on. So this is the build tool that you could enable. So basically, enable it like this, and then it will be available for you to use. Okay. What else? So basically another very important topic, as I see it, is the connectivity. How do you connect your backend system or to your cloud-based application? So we are using the concept of destination. So destination is basically an abstraction of the connection to some other system. If I now, let's say, so this is, let me look at this first. So this is to a cloud-based system, so its proxy type is internet, so it's authentication, blah, blah, blah. I can also change, of course, the authentication to different things. And then if I go to this system, for instance, this is basically connecting to an on-premise ERP system. So basically a system behind the firewall on a customer. And I can check, I have connection to this system and it's connected through this cloud connector. Cloud connector this is basically the cloud connector, so basically on the other side. So here I've configured my cloud connector to connect to my cloud platform account, and then also I have whitelisted the services that I want to make available to be consumed outside. And then what's important is you have all the necessary kind of parameters here to be able to securely connect. So again, supporting, for instance, principal propagation, so propagating the credentials to the backend system, which is typically used. Or you can use a technical user, such as which I've done here, using basic authentication. Okay. Also, you could easily here configure what's called an identity provider to talk to and trust another corporate identity provider. Okay, so that was a little bit about the cloud platform and how to get started. So I'll go back to the presentation. Again, I encourage you to start play with it and use it. Also, we are providing free courses to customers, but also to developers and students through this opensap.com. So now if I go to so I've logged in. So basically everyone gets a login. You can browse the different courses that are available. And typically these are targeted for developers on multiple areas. So there's a HANA, for instance, analytics, object-oriented programming in Java, and so on and so forth. There's also a lot of courses on the cloud platform for developers, also courses for mobile development, and so on. It's even in German if you want to. So this one, for instance, I recommend Cloud Native Development with SAP Cloud Platform. This is a good course. The course typically provides of videos. So course introduction, then there is a quiz after each video, and then at the end of the first week there is kind of a assignment, and it might also be an exercise, and at the end of the week 6 then there will be a kind of a certification. So final exam. So of course you can get access to all the videos. You can you can download all the materials. Of course you don't have to take the exams if you don't want to, but if you do, you will have a certification which you can use for when you're providing services to customers and so on and so forth. So this is also, I highly recommend to use the Open SAP course. It's as said, it's free. It's a variety of courses available for everyone to use. But basically, it's targeted for developers. Sorry? It's 0, so it's all free. Yeah. So you get the diploma certification, which to be honest, SAP. As said in the beginning, it's a very big player, and to have the certification, these are new technologies that many customers are requesting, partners are requesting. So I think it's valuable to have these certification and diplomas. If you're a consultant, also if you're working for a company, to get into new customers. So I think it's a good approach, and as said, I'm encouraging you to do it. And also, I know, for instance, in my area, I'm from Norway, there is a huge need for developers that can go in, develop in. But before it used to be kind of more proprietary SAP ABAP requirements, but now more and more of the kind of extensions and so on and so forth is done on Cloud Platform with Java, with HTML5, and so on and so forth. And there is a huge demand for developers in this area, and also I think it's well paid. And as I said, you can tap into quite many customers throughout the world. Okay, questions? I guess you can have the presentation and the links to it, and also you can contact me, kurt.kristiansen@sap.com. If you have additional questions, I'm part of what's called the solution advisors, part of a regional team supporting customers primarily in the Nordics and in the Baltics. Any further questions? Did you know about SAP before? Or I know that this type of, let's say, event is not that much enterprise, probably not that enterprise kind of oriented, but I hope, that you, after this session, would be more interested to learn more and kind of leverage all of the capabilities that are there. But again, these are tools, building blocks for developers, basically, to extend existing enterprise application, but also to build new ones. So I hope that you are, that you want to, learn more and start play with the SAP Cloud Platform, which is a very important product for SAP today, but even more important in the future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.